corner of her eye. A chimpanzee, not Mo, but another young male named Buddy, had escaped from his cage. Before she could react, the chimp jumped at her and bit off her thumb. St. James pushed her under the picnic table to protect her, but then another chimp, Ollie, also got out.
This is hold. This is hold.
Oh, not getting jumped.
This is hold.
Nah.
No.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Every day some new shit.
What's up, man? Tassosa in the building.
Hey, bro, it's Crest in the building.
Before we get into this video, we trying to hit a triple dub. That means 10 likes, 10 comments, and 10 subs, man. I know my CNT members got that for me, man.
My hands are ashy as shit.
Look, in today's video, we reacted to part 1 of this already, but the worst zoo deaths ever. In the last one, some people got hoes, some people were just dumb as shit, and you know, one person actually ended up offing himself. But you know, I'm hoping to see some good ones in this video today. You know,
we're gonna let you know if we feel bad for the person or not.
You feel me? Some people are just genuinely stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you get hoed.
Tatiana, a female Siberian tiger, was once a peaceful animal, but that changed in 2006 after she attacked a zookeeper who was feeding her that year, leaving the woman with a permanently scarred arm. An even worse attack happened in 2007. On Christmas Day,
I don't even like that can happen. You know what you're risking on the job, though. You feel me?
100%.
Like obviously, like you're just feeding it. That's iffy. That's not as bad as it could be.
I wouldn't even be close to a tiger. I don't care how
sometimes
tell me the tiger.
Sometimes zookeepers really think they know shit about animals. That they fucking love them and shit.
Like if you keep your arm this way, they won't bite you because they can't see you on this side.
Nah, they talking about the crocodile.
Yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, he does not act that way. Nah, I think there is a way to go about handling animals, but like my nigga, there's no guarantee though.
After closing time, Tatiana escaped from her enclosure. That day, 3 young men, 17-year-old.
You can't just skim over that though. How did she escape?
You can't just escape. Like I don't care, bro.
Oh wait, is she just killing fans?
Carlos Sousa Jr. and brothers Amritpal and Kulbir Dhaliwal, aged 19 and 23, had been seen shouting at animals and throwing things. At some point, Tatiana managed to climb or leap out of her grotto. Investigators later discovered that the moat wall was only 12.5 feet high, even though the recommended minimum for tigers was around 16 feet. Concrete chips found in her paws suggested she had scrambled and pushed her way up the wall to get out. Once free, she went straight for the group, and Carlos Sousa was her first victim. She mauled him with brutal force, leaving him with skull and spine fractures, many bite and claw wounds, and a severed jugular vein. He died on the spot.
That's damn near instant karma though. They was throwing rocks and shit at animals and shit.
I love going to zoos. I think zoos are definitely morally wrong. But like, I enjoyed going to them as growing up. I never antagonized the animals though. I just always looked and been respectful. You know what I mean?
You gotta understand they're already.
But that kind of is hold. Like you're a dickhead, but you didn't deserve to die.
Yeah, hold 100%.
That's kind of bad shape. Like if a tiger can climb out that shit, that's fucked. Like that could happen at any time. Then
they said the recommended fee was 16 feet. So
that's 4 feet lower. That's considerable. They're getting sued though.
Yeah.
Wall brothers ran for their lives, bleeding from their wounds until they reached the nearby locked zoo cafe. The tiger was behind them, and they screamed for help until finally a worker inside the cafe called emergency services.
They're getting sued crazy.
At first, the worker thought the person screaming outside was just mentally unstable and that there was no real animal attack. He told emergency services exactly that when he called. Paired with the fact that later on zoo security guards were enforcing a lockdown to prevent Tatiana from escaping the zoo grounds, caused the emergency response to be delayed. When police and armed zoo staff finally arrived, Tatiana was standing over one of the injured brothers. Officers hesitated to fire because they feared hitting him, so they distracted the tiger. And when she turned toward them, they opened fire, killing her with a shot to the head. Both brothers were rushed to the hospital with deep injuries to their arms, necks, and heads, but they survived, unlike Carlos, unfortunately. In the days after, the San Francisco Zoo admitted that the moat wall had been far too low and below safety standards.
That's crazy. They got sued,
St. James Davis. St. James, a NASCAR pilot.
I'm gonna tell you this, right? Chimpanzees are like really smart. They're like, they understand how pain works. Yeah. So before they kill you, they rip off your fingers and your genitals. So just beware of that. Beware of that.
And his wife LaDonna had a pet chimpanzee called Mo, whom they raised like a son since he was a baby. They adopted him after poachers killed his mother in Tanzania. And since they couldn't have children, they treated him like one of their own. He wore clothes, ate at the dinner table, and even took part in their wedding ceremony. Years earlier, after a long and painful legal fight because Mo bit a police officer and a visitor, he had been taken away from them, but they still visited him often, bringing his favorite food and toys. That day in March 2005, they brought cake, candy hearts, and chocolate milk to the ranch where Mo was. As soon as he saw them, he started clapping and smiling. But then, in seconds, something unexpected happened. As LaDonna leaned over to cut a piece of cake, she saw something moving quickly from the corner of her eye. A chimpanzee, not Mo, but another young male named Buddy, had escaped from his cage. Before she could react, the chimp jumped at her and bit off her thumb. St. James pushed her under the picnic table to protect her, but then another chimp, Ollie, also got out.
This is hold. This is hold.
Oh, not getting jumped.
This is hold.
Nah.
No, this is like, you do not deserve this.
Because number one, they said they broke out their cage. Like, how the fuck did they break out their cage?
Chimpanzees are strong as fuck still.
Yeah, but nah, bro. You're supposed to make equipment that they're not supposed to break out of.
Animals attacked together with terrifying strength. They jumped on St. James and tore at his face, hands and feet. They ripped away his skin and flesh until he was left unrecognizable. The ranch owner's son-in-law heard the screams, grabbed a revolver, and ran toward the noise. When he arrived, he saw the chimps attacking. He shot Buddy first, then chased Ollie, who was dragging St. James's badly injured body down a walkway. He fired again, killing Ollie too. He rushed towards St. James, who was lying on the ground, barely alive. Paramedics said it looked more like a grizzly bear attack than one by a chimpanzee. St. James had lost almost everything. His fingers, his left foot, much of his face, his nose, lips, and even his LaDonna's hand.
What I tell you that? I used to study animals when I was younger. I used to be a nerdy nigga.
Covered in blood, and her thumb was gone. She could only watch while rescuers tried to keep her husband alive. He was flown by helicopter to the hospital, where he stayed for 6 months. For part of that time, he was in a coma. Over the next 4 years, he went through more than 60 surgeries. Doctors rebuilt his face as best they could. He had 1 prosthetic eye and 2 small slits, where his nose used to be. St. James survived, but his injuries left him permanently disfigured. However, their love for Mo didn't fade. They went back to court to make sure the city kept its promise to build a home where they could live with him again. And in their front yard, they even put up a sign that said, "Free Mo." However, in 2008, Mo disappeared from his new home and was never found. Some people said he escaped into the mountains, while others believed he might have been killed in the wild. Years later, tragedy struck again. St. James died in 2018 after suffering a stroke, and LaDonna, now alone, became a victim of financial abuse and lost much of what they had built together. While St. James's death wasn't directly caused by what happened at the ranch, it's fair to imagine it played a role, and the story was just too incredible not to include in this video. Jia Lijun and Duan. In May 2016, Jia Lijun, a Chinese businessman, was visiting Shishiaku Wildlife Park. He stopped at the walrus enclosure and started taking selfies and videos with the animal. The walrus was huge, weighing about 1.6 tons. However, only moments later, the animal turned deadly. Witnesses said the walrus suddenly grabbed Jia from behind, and at first, many people watching—
how did she get so close? Did I miss something? How did she get so close?
Actually, I think they climbed over a fence.
Go back. I didn't miss that.
In 2016, Jia Lijun, a Chinese businessman, was visiting Shishiaku Wildlife Park. He stopped at the walrus enclosure and started taking selfies and videos with the animal. The walrus was huge, weighing about 1.6 tons. However, only moments later, the animal turned deadly. Witnesses said the walrus suddenly grabbed Jia from behind, and at first, many people watching thought the animal was just playing. But the walrus was so big and powerful that once it held on, Jia had no control. It dragged him into the pool, clung tightly to him, and swung him around while pushing him under the water. Things got worse when Duan, the walrus's longtime trainer, jumped in to help. Duan had raised the walrus since it was a baby and had cared for it for more than 10 years. He was considered the closest person to the animal, but as soon as the walrus saw him in the water, it rushed toward him as well. Instead of letting go of Jia, it wrapped itself around both men, holding them tightly. Even though Duan was a strong swimmer, the walrus's enormous weight kept them trapped underwater. The animal continued to squeeze and push them down. By the time staff and visitors realized it wasn't playing anymore, it was already too late. Both Jia and Duan drowned inside the pool.
That's terrible.
Maksud and Vijay.
How did they get so close,
In September 2014, a 20-year-old man named Maksud, who was said to have some mental health struggles.
That could be Hode. That's not Hode. You walked up into— no, you don't try to get that close to a fucking wild animal.
No, you don't.
What do you think was gonna happen?
Let me get selfie. Nigga grabbed his ass.
That's kind of goofy dying to walrus, I'm not gonna lie.
Got into the enclosure of a white tiger named Vijay. Earlier that day, visitors had been throwing stones and shouting at the tiger. Nonetheless, videos from the scene show the tiger at first looking calm, even curious, as Maksud sat in the enclosure below. For several minutes, the tiger did not attack, but the crowd above kept screaming, and the noise created chaos. The loud shouting agitated the tiger, and eventually it snapped. Vijay suddenly lunged at Maksud, grabbed him by the neck, and dragged him across the floor of the enclosure. Witnesses were horrified, and some begged the zoo staff to do something, but there were no tranquilizer guns or emergency plans ready. Guards yelled at the crowd to calm down, but many people were too shocked. The tiger kept its grip on Maksud, and within minutes the young man was dead. His injuries were so bad that he died inside the enclosure before anyone could reach him. Only one guard had been stationed near the enclosure, and he admitted that his main duty was to control the crowd, not to deal with emergencies inside the exhibit.
I'm not doing that. I'm not jumping in boxing.
On a normal afternoon,
every one of them is a tiger.
Visitors were watching the tigers being fed.
Every
when
one of them
suddenly,
is a tiger.
they heard a loud scream coming from the tiger house. Inside was 24-year-old keeper Sarah McClay, and a tiger named Padang had somehow managed to get through several doors that were meant to keep people and animals safely apart. It immediately jumped on Sarah, and its strength and speed left her with terrible injuries to her head and neck. By the time her co-workers ran toward the noise, Sarah was basically
I never planned it. I never planned it, right? But I've never been a zookeeper, my nigga.
No, I don't think I've ever been one either.
Why the fuck do you like? I understand like going to see him, but like, oh, let me jump in there and see what's up, take a selfie.
My thing is, how does it somehow open? This is the max hoage you could get for multiple. It's not just one gate that keeps the tigers from humans. It's multiple gates that are being opened.
If they're just ripping through it on some shit, okay, that's just hold. Again, your hold, but I feel like somebody just left it open again.
That's what I'm saying. It's just some dumb shit. Somebody's being irresponsible.
This video's good, but they're leaving out key details.
We need to know.
And they flew her by helicopter to the hospital, but her wounds were described as unsurvivable. She died later that same day. After her death, investigators saw that the safety systems of the doors had failed. For example, the bolt on the door to the dark den was faulty. It couldn't close properly and would bounce off the frame, leaving a small but dangerous gap of about 0.78 inches. When the official investigation was held in 2014, the jury couldn't say exactly how Sarah ended up in the same space as the tiger, but they confirmed that the broken bolt played a major role in the accident. Kelly Ann Walls.
That's crazy, bro.
Kelly Ann Walls had cleaned her bear's cage hundreds of times before, but one day, something was different. When she went into the 15 by 15 foot enclosure where she kept her black bear, a 350-pound animal she had raised from a cub and named Teddy, she threw some dog food to one side of the cage to distract him and clean the other side. She had done this every day for 9 years, but this time, Teddy suddenly attacked her and started mauling her. The bear, much taller and more than twice her weight, overpowered Kelly almost immediatty. Her 2 young children, along with the neighbor's children, saw what was happening and screamed for help. The neighbor
like 7 feet tall.
Grabbed his
black bears. They're big, but they're not like crazy big compared to other bears. Like black bears, like they're more peaceful than like polar bears and grizzly bears. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like they obviously can kill any human if they really want to, but they're that's not their nature. They don't want to just kill people. Yeah. You feel me? Unless they're like with their cubs, they get more aggressive around their cubs. So like something had to happen.
Gun and ran to the cage. When he arrived,
because like you see how she did that for every day for 9 years. Yeah. I wouldn't do no freaky shit like that. But like black bears are the bears to do that with. A polar bear would just kill you the first day. A grizzly bear would kill you the first day. Yeah. You feel me? This is kind of crazy though.
Was on
Not
top
really
of
that
Kelly.
crazy, you know what I'm saying?
He said the animal started to move away from her body and began walking toward him. And at that moment, he fired his gun. The shots killed Teddy, but Kelly was already dead. Her injuries were so bad that she was pronounced dead directly at the scene. Officials from the Pennsylvania Game Commission later explained that wild animal cages usually have 2 separate sections. This lets owners lock the animal on one side while cleaning the other. Kelly's cage didn't have that setup, or if it did, it wasn't used that day. If you want to discuss this video or suggest an idea,
that's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. Hey, if you guys enjoyed part 1, I hope you guys enjoy part 2 also. I think this is more hoish though. Part 2 is more dumb niggas. Okay, we have a few scared nutcases here, but there's a lot of hoish to be played for.
Hey, man, all I'm gonna say is if you're a zookeeper, be safe out there, man. Do it smart. Make sure you don't work with dumb niggas.
Right? I understand, because I do agree. Tigers, bears, walruses, they are fascinating creatures, and they're cool to look at. You feel me? Observe from a distance.
100%.
From a distance, yes. Like I would listen. I feel it because like I would watch a video of somebody trying to play with a walrus. You feel me? Just like, and even like it could go bad, but it's entertaining. Like somebody has to do it, my nigga. But don't be that person to do it. Feel me?
Fact, bro. Just be the consumer, my nigga.
Exactly.
But hey, man, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys comment something for us to watch down below. Recommend us anything, bro. Anything.
We're gonna get to you promptly. Hey, man. With that being said, Tasosa, I'm gone.
Crest, we out of here.